She didn't mean for it to happen. But when Sophia looked into his eyes that night, under the rain, trembling, her heart racing, she knew there was no way back. The line had already been crossed. He was holding her hand, tight, too tight for someone who wasn't supposed to care, and yet, in that one moment, everything else disappeared. The world, the rules, even the ring on his finger. "Please," he whispered, eyes full of something between pain and longing. "Don't say it," but it was too late. She had already fallen, and he wasn't strong enough to stop her. They weren't supposed to feel this, to want this, to even think about each other after dark. But love, real love, doesn't ask for permission. It just happens, quietly, dangerously, and when it does, it doesn't knock. It breaks the door down. That night, in the silence between two heartbeats, Sophia realized one thing. She was in love with a man who belonged to someone else, and he was about to choose between the life he built and the life he secretly dreamed of. Sophia never saw herself as someone special. She worked in a small flower shop on the corner of Avenida San Pedro, where the mornings smelled like roses and the afternoons faded into silence. Her world was soft, quiet, and predictable, just the way she liked. She lived alone in a tiny apartment above a bakery. Every night, the smell of fresh bread filled her room, and every night she would sit by the window with a cup of tea, watching the city lights blink like quiet stars. But inside, Sophia carried a secret, a dream she never told anyone, a fear she couldn't name, and a name she whispered only to herself. Raphael. He came every Friday, always at the same time, always asking for the same bouquet. White lilies, her favorite too. He said it was for his wife. At first, she didn't think much. Married men bought flowers all the time, but Raphael was different. The way he spoke, the way he listened, the way he noticed the small things. How she tucked her hair behind her ear when she was nervous. How she always added one extra flower when she smiled. He never stayed long, but every time he left, Sophia's hands would tremble. Her heart beat faster than it should, and her mind, it wandered to places it shouldn't go. She hated herself for it. She tried to ignore it, but feelings have a strange way of growing in the quiet. They bloom in silence. Just like flowers in the dark, she kept a small notebook by her bed. At the end of each day, she would write something she wished she could say out loud. One page said, "If love was simple, it wouldn't hurt this much." Another said, "I'm not proud, I'm just human." And every Friday, after he left the shop, she would press a hand over her chest and whisper, "Please, don't let me fall deeper." But by then, it was already too late. It started slowly. Sophia began waking up with a weight in her chest, not heavy enough to cry, but just enough to make breathing feel off. She still smiled at customers, still arranged flowers with care, still laughed politely at the baker's morning jokes. But something inside her was unraveling. She knew it was wrong. Every time Raphael walked in, she told herself, "He's married. He's not for you." But her heart never listened. And hearts, once they stop listening, become dangerous things. The worst part? He was kind, gentle, thoughtful. He once noticed a cut on her hand from a thorn and brought a small bandage the next week. He didn't say anything, just placed it on the counter, smiled, and walked away. That smile haunted her. One rainy Thursday, she saw him across the street, holding hands with a woman. His wife, she assumed. They looked happy, real, untouchable. Sophia turned away, pretending not to care, but her hands shook. Her lips trembled. And that night, for the first time in months, she didn't write in her notebook. She just stared at the ceiling and whispered, "What am I doing to myself?" She began avoiding mirrors. She hated the way she looked when she thought of him, the softness in her eyes, the hope she couldn't kill. Hope is cruel when it has nowhere to go. At work, she stopped waiting for Fridays, but her heart betrayed her every time the doorbell chimed. Just in case, just maybe. When he did come, she forced a colder tone. "White lilies again?" He nodded, a bit confused. "You okay?" She wanted to scream, to cry, to tell him everything, but all she said was, "Yes, just tired." He smiled. "Take care, Sophia." That was the moment it cracked. She walked into the storage room and sat on the floor between buckets of fading tulips and unopened boxes. Her body trembled, her throat burned, and tears came in waves. Angry, silent waves. She felt ashamed. But, worse than shame, she felt invisible. She wasn't part of his world. She never would be. She was the background to someone else's love story. The next morning, she didn't open the shop. She stayed in bed, curled under the blanket, reading old pages from her notebook. One day, I'll matter to someone the way I wish I mattered to him. The ink was smudged from a teardrop. She hadn't even noticed when she cried that night. It happened on a Tuesday. Sophia was cleaning the shelves when she heard a voice outside. "Hey, is this where Sophia works?" She looked up, confused. It wasn't Raphael. It wasn't anyone she recognized. The man outside the shop smiled shyly, holding a small bouquet in his hands. "I was hoping to get some flowers. And maybe talk to you." Sophia froze. It wasn't just the man's voice that caught her attention. It was the way he looked at her, like she was the only person in the room. Sophia stuttered, unsure how to react. She didn't even know why she was hesitating. She hadn't felt this nervous in a long time. "Yes, I'm Sophia. How can I help you?" He stepped inside, his gaze not leaving hers. "I'm Theo. I've been coming here for a while, but today, I think I'm here for more than just flowers." Sophia blinked. What was happening? Theo placed the bouquet on the counter. "I think you're amazing," he said, his voice soft but firm. "I've noticed you before. You're always so kind and gentle. I just wanted to tell you that." She didn't know how to respond. This was new. This wasn't Raphael. But there was something in Theo's eyes that made her want to believe. "Thank you," she whispered, feeling her heart flutter in a way she hadn't experienced in months. As Theo left the shop with his flowers, he paused at the door. "Maybe I'll see you again," he said, his smile warm. "Take care of yourself, Sophia." And for the first time in a long time, Sophia felt a spark of something not painful, something alive. That night, as she lay in bed, she didn't cry. She didn't feel broken. She felt something new, a quiet hope. Maybe, just maybe, it wasn't too late for her to matter. She grabbed the pen beside her bed and wrote on a new page in her notebook. "Maybe it's time to find a way to matter to myself first." It wasn't a big change. It wasn't a miracle, but it was a start. the change didn't happen overnight. In fact, most of the time, she could hardly notice any difference. Sophia kept working, still in the same place, with the same routine. But with each passing day, something changed inside her. It wasn't visible to others, but she could feel it. It was a small fire burning, slowly, without her knowing exactly where it was taking her. At first, she began giving herself small permissions. Permission to smile more, to be kinder to herself, permission to dream without guilt. She had learned that, often, life was about those little gestures, small steps that no one sees, but that start to build something bigger. There were days, of course, when setbacks happened. Like the time she saw Raphael on the street. He didn't see her, and the moment he walked past her, Sophia felt a sharp pain in her chest. It was as if she was back in that dark place she was trying to leave. But in that moment, something different happened. Sophia didn't sink into sadness like she used to. She took a deep breath and slowly told herself, "I am more than this." It was the following weekend that she had another chance to test her change. Theo, the man with the flower, returned. This time, he wasn't just bringing flowers. He had something new for her. I was wondering if you would like to go out with me sometime," Theo asked, with a slight hesitation, but his eyes were filled with genuine hope. Sophia paused. She thought about the insecurity she'd always had, the pain of trying something new and failing, and for a moment, her heart raced. She had become so used to not being enough, to feeling invisible, that the simple idea of being seen by someone could have made her collapse. But she remembered her promises to herself, that she could no longer be a prisoner of the past. "Yes," she said, with a confidence she didn't even know she still had. "Yes, I would like that." That evening, Sophia sat in front of her mirror, the world outside still busy with its usual rhythm. She had just come back from dinner with Theo. It had been a lovely evening. She had laughed, enjoyed the food, and felt something in her heart that had been missing for a long time, hope. But now, as she sat alone, that same familiar feeling returned. The fear, the doubt. What if I mess this up? What if it's too late for me? She had spent so many years doubting herself, letting the mistakes of the past define her future. But tonight, she was faced with a simple choice: stay in the comfortable cage of fear she had built for herself, or step out into the unknown. The door was wide open. Sophia's hand hovered over the small notepad on her desk. Her old habit, writing down her thoughts, felt almost foreign now, but she had learned that the answers always came when she allowed herself to speak honestly, even if just to herself. With shaky hands, she wrote down a question. Who do I want to be? It was a question she had avoided for years. She had spent so much time living for others, for the people around her, trying to meet expectations, trying to live up to something that wasn't truly hers. But now, in the quiet of the night, she asked herself the question that mattered most. Sophia stood up, her eyes locking with her reflection in the mirror. The face staring back at her was the same, but the eyes, they were different. There was something new in them, a spark of determination that she hadn't seen before. Her phone buzzed. It was a message from Theo. It was simple but powerful. I had a great time tonight. Looking forward to seeing you again. Her heart skipped a beat. It was an innocent message, but it meant the world to her. It meant that, Despite her doubts, someone saw her. Not the broken version of herself, not the woman hiding from her past, but the woman she was becoming. Sophia took a deep breath and stared at the phone screen. The decision was right in front of her. She could stay hidden, afraid of what might happen, or she could open up, step into the unknown, and trust that life would guide her. With trembling fingers, she typed back, "I'm looking forward to it too." For the first time in a long while, Sophia felt the weight of the fear lifting from her shoulders. She had made the choice, not the easy one, but the one that was true to who she was becoming. She wasn't just going to keep running from the love she deserved. She wasn't going to let herself be defined by her past mistakes anymore. She didn't know what the future held, but she knew one thing for certain. She had to keep moving forward, one step at a time. The weeks that followed felt like a dream for Sophia. She had taken the leap, choosing to confront the fear she had lived with for so long. Every day she faced something new, a new challenge, a new emotion, a new step towards something she had only imagined in her wildest dreams. And through it all, she was reminded of one simple truth. Real change was never as easy as it seemed on paper. At first, there were days when she felt the weight of uncertainty pressing on her chest. The old habits crept in, the ones that told her she wasn't enough, that she didn't deserve the good things in life. But every time those thoughts appeared, she fought back with the same resolve. She didn't have all the answers, but she was willing to try. One evening, after a particularly exhausting day at work, Sophia sat in her small apartment, sipping a cup of tea. Her phone buzzed again, and this time it was Theo. "How about we go for a walk this weekend? Just the two of us." She smiled to herself. The simple gesture of wanting to spend time with her, without expectations, just for the company, felt like a miracle. Theo wasn't like the others she had met before. He didn't need to fix her. He didn't need her to be anything other than who she was. She realized then that she had been so focused on fixing herself, on becoming someone she thought she had to be, that she had forgotten to enjoy the process, to be kind to herself, to embrace the small victories. On the weekend, they met at the park. The sun was low in the sky, casting a warm golden glow on everything. It was one of those perfect moments where everything seemed to align, where life didn't feel so heavy. As I see. They walked together. Theo glanced at her, his eyes soft. "You look different, Sophia," he said. Sophia laughed, though it was more of a nervous giggle. "Different? How?" He paused for a moment, choosing his words carefully. "You're not the same woman I met months ago. It's like you're finally living for yourself." Her heart skipped. She hadn't realized it, but Theo was right. The woman she was becoming wasn't the one who had been trapped by her fears and insecurities. She was stronger now, more confident, more at peace with who she was. "I'm trying," she admitted, her voice steady. "I've spent so long running from who I am, but now I'm learning to embrace it." Theo smiled, reaching out to gently touch her arm. "I'm proud of you, Sophia. You're doing great." The words were simple, but they meant everything to her. It wasn't just about love anymore. It was about self-love. It was about recognizing her own worth. They continued their walk in comfortable silence, and Sophia felt lighter with every step. The fear that had once paralyzed her was fading, and in its place, she was discovering the beauty of vulnerability, of opening herself up to the world, of letting herself be seen, truly seen, as the sun set, painting the sky in hues of pink and purple. Sophia realized that her life was no longer defined by the mistakes of the past. She had taken back control, and for the first time in years, she could honestly say that she was excited to see where this journey would take her. Sophia sat in front of her bathroom mirror, staring at her reflection. The person who looked back at her wasn't the same woman she had seen only a few months ago. There was a quiet strength in her eyes, a calm that hadn't been there before. Her face held traces of laughter, of tears, of growth. She touched her own face gently, almost as if to confirm she was real. It was a strange feeling, looking at herself and seeing someone she actually liked for the first time. For so long, Sophia had been running from her own reflection, too consumed by self-doubt to appreciate who she was. She used to see her flaws first, her mistakes, her insecurities. But now, as she stood there, she saw someone who had fought through her darkest moments and come out the other side, stronger and more certain of her worth. The journey hadn't been easy. There were days when she wanted to give up, when the doubts returned louder than ever. But every time she felt like quitting, she reminded herself of something. Change wasn't about perfection. It was about progress. Sophia smiled at herself. She wasn't perfect, but she was real, and for the first time, that was enough. As she left the bathroom, she heard a soft knock on the door. It was Theo, standing with a hopeful look in his eyes. "You all right?" he asked gently. Sophia nodded. "I'm more than all right. I'm just thankful. Thankful for who I've become. And for you." He stepped closer, pulling her into a tight embrace. "I'm proud of you, Sophia, and I think you're finally starting to see what I've seen all along." Sophia's heart swelled with emotion. This wasn't just about Theo or their love story anymore. It was about her journey, her self-discovery, and it was a journey she would continue, with or without anyone else by her side, because now she knew the most important thing. She was enough. She pulled back from Theo, looking up at him with a soft smile. "I don't need anyone to fix me anymore. I'm already whole." Theo's eyes softened, and for a moment, everything felt perfect. Just the two of them, standing in the quiet of the night, ready to face whatever came next, together. Sophia's story was one of pain, of doubt, and of love. Love for others, but most importantly, love for herself. It wasn't about having it all figured out. It was about having the courage to start, to fall, and to rise again, stronger. As you've read Sophia's journey, ask yourself, what's your turning point? What's the moment when you decide that enough is enough, and that you deserve more than the life you've been living? The next chapter of your story is waiting. It's never too late to rewrite it, to choose courage, and to love yourself the way you deserve to be loved. If Sophia's story has resonated with you, share it with someone who needs to hear it. We're all in this together, and the next story could be yours. If this story touched your heart, don't miss the next one. Hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you never miss a story that could change your life. Join our community and be part of this journey of transformation.